what were the vibes in Dallas when you were there? Because it just feels like it might be a little bit different now.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the old guy retired tour right now. Eddie George and I were laughing about that. You going to all these places, they're acknowledging for things, and you're realizing, oh, this just means I'm old, and they feel like it's the appropriate time to give me some love.
The beard is not helping you, all that gray.
No, it's definitely not. Eddie looks much younger than me, even though he's older than me. So that made me feel bad, but I'll get back to work. You know what? It was crazy, Fitz. So being there all week, you're there, obviously, for the East-West Shrine game. You know, the Hall of Fame deal is awesome. It's good to be back in Dallas, obviously really close to my hometown. So it was great to be there for a few days. But, man, the only vibe there, you know, Brian Schottenheimer was hired a few days earlier. Every radio station, East-West Shrine's like, hey, will you do some pub for the game and do something? I'm like, sure. The entire conversations are about Jerry Jones and his decision at the head coach position. And so, you know, the city was just buzzing about that decision. And really, you know, I just kept trying to say, Fitz, and I know you've had a chance to be with a lot of different guys in your career, and it's much different when you're a coordinator and a head coach. I don't care what your success level is as a coordinator position. A head coach is a total different thing, and it's hard to judge them that way. So I just kept saying, like, hey, dude, just listen, you can be as mad at Jerry as you want and as upset as you want to be at the Cowboys and whatever you think their process should have been and how they didn't do it. But, man, let's not take it out on Brian Schottenheimer, who's a coach's son, who's getting his chance, who everything I've ever heard is a great dude.
Right.
And that's really where I stood on it, is like, I feel like it's like, man, he's a good human being. He like, obviously Dak loves him. He felt like Dak continued to give him praise, you know, as far as him feeling like he had a huge impact on him and really where the offense was going. So it's like, hey, man, if the quarterback wants him there, that's the guy you're the most heavily invested in at this point. I can see why you inevitably, if you just didn't love the candidate situation and felt like you were behind because of the delay they had with McCarthy, I mean, you know what? Why not keep some familiarity?
Yeah, it's a weird thing too now. This, and I blame Sean McVay for like every head coach is getting younger and younger because all the coordinators are getting younger, especially on the offensive side of the football. And I look to what Tampa just did. They hired a guy, Josh Grizzard, same thing where he was elevated when Liam Cohen left to the coordinator position from the passing game coordinator. And he's a really young guy, horrible decision-making in terms of going to Yale for college. But I was able to work with him for 2 years in Miami. And like the McVay problem that he's created, which is a good one for these guys because they're getting opportunities, is like if you look at Josh Grizzard, like he's got to perform in the next 2 years. And if he does, he's going to be a head coach, even though this is his first time ever as an offensive coordinator trying to learn what to do and how to call a play and how to call a game and all those things. Or in 2 years, he's going to fall down and he's going to be a position coach for the rest of his life. And there's really like no in between. You go from 0 to 100 very quickly. And some guys have been able to thrive in that. And there's a lot that haven't been able to take advantage of those opportunities. But I'm excited for Shotty because he's been in the league for so long. He's so well respected. But now that the Dallas people don't have to talk about it and don't have to worry about it, we've moved on to something else. I feel like, is Jerry happy or is he upset that they're no longer the center of the universe right now?
See, I actually think Jerry's upset. He likes being the center. That sells more Cowboys merchandise, more people talking about the Cowboys. Listen, good media, bad media. He wants people talking Cowboys. But, yeah, I mean, the Mavericks absolutely stole their thunder. I mean, if the Cowboys thought they created some great energy by going with a hire nobody expected, I mean, Luka Doncic is now a Los Angeles Laker.
I almost feel like you spoke this into existence, because I remember the photo of you guys. I think it was last year. You're 77. He's 77. You did the jersey exchange. I know you were really excited about meeting him, but you tweeted something about sevens, another sevens coming into LA, bringing a championship. I don't think you were the first one. I think, you forgot about our guy on the Kings, but
Jeff Carter. That's right.
Pretty exciting stuff, man. Yeah. How about that?
They reminded me quickly. Don't worry. The Kings fans let me know. So, hey, I think that's pretty cool, though. That's 2 in a row, sevens that have come to LA and won a championship. So I told Luka we're going for the trifecta. But yeah, no, I sent that out and it was really cool. I got to meet him last year. Actually, NFL on Prime, the Amazon folks set it up. On a Thursday night game, I got to go and meet him, and that was a really neat experience. But you look at this trade, man, it made me think, Fitz, about fan bases in the NFL. And you look at really the reaction to this, and having been in some of those rooms, having some of those conversations with teams when these really intense decisions happen. You trade a great player, you trade first round picks. I mean, you think of the Rams, obviously, with how they got Jared Goff and then how they even traded Jared Goff away. I think of some of these other teams, like when you make those decisions, like, man, do you think about what the fan base is going to do, what your best players are going to say, like how they're going to react? And in this one, which I think the craziest part about it is, and it kind of relates across all sports, is I think the biggest thing people are upset about is it all went down in private. No one knew. Even Jason Kidd says, I didn't find out until the 11th hour right before they announced it happened.
Dude, how crazy. It's just hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that like LeBron didn't know. I mean,
it is. And also think of Jason Kidd. He's obviously coached both guys, because he was with the Lakers and you know them. So it's hard for me to believe that he didn't say, I kind of need Anthony here, like as a culture guy. I love him.
Yeah.
He would fit great. And it just feels like that. But I will say this, watching that press conference, he seemed so stoic and like no emotion at all that he did feel a little like this is happening, and whether I support it or not, I got to just say what I'm supposed to say. And I think that's another thing that the fan base is angry about. I do have a text group of buddies, guys I play golf with, that are just absolutely enraged. One of them sends yesterday morning, Fitz, they sends me a clip of a picture of what he sent an email to the guy who sells him his tickets. And it's a young kid. And he's hey, man, being somebody who's been in business for a long time, I think it's best for you to find another job. This is not going to end well for you. Like basically like, hey, because they traded Luka, your ticket sales are going to shit. You need to find a new job fast. I'm just giving you some advice. And he's like, basically like, I'm out. And that was just guy after guy, like not renewing. They are absolutely livid with the organization.
I mean Instagram followers.
Yes,
you can talk about your guys, but it's like Instagram is where everything's at. Like you were alluding to there. Like they lost over 1 million on Instagram. Even the youth hates them.
It's wild. I think sometimes you remember there's a great article I just read yesterday, Athletic, about Jerry Seinfeld saying basically like we just root for laundry, as a fan. You really are just rooting for the laundry. And then they made this correlation. I think it was cool that like basically sometimes though, it's that special sweatshirt that like you never would ever give away. And that's what it feels like with Luka. It feels like this fan base is basically like, I would rather watch this guy play than ever win a title with anybody else because he feels homegrown. He just got him to the finals last year. He's one of the top 5 basketball players in freaking all of the NBA. It's just crazy. I text Blake Griffin, our buddy and now counterpart, our teammate at Amazon.
Yeah, what Blake say?
He was like, dude, this makes 0 sense. I have no idea what's going on.
I love the reactions here in Phoenix. They were showing like KD and Booker on the bench looking at the phone at their phones. Yes. Like, what? Like that just this isn't real.
And people, Fitz, keeps you seeing all this stuff. They're trying to make these comparisons and like trades. And I think that's really hard to do in the NFL because in basketball, it's about roles. And so like, where really Anthony Davis plays and Luka plays, 2 total different things, even though they are great players. I get people trying to relate great player for great player, but like I saw somebody put Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson getting traded, but like that doesn't make any sense. They play the same exact position. So it really wouldn't be that big a difference. This is like the Lakers no longer have a big man, but they have this unbelievable all-star player, come into their roster. So they do have some deficiencies. And then for the Mavericks, it's like you got the thing you probably needed the most: leader, big man in the middle, defense, all these things. So you might be a more complete team, but you might not be as talented. So I think it's a very hard one to really relate to the NFL. But what I would say is, can you think of like trades in the NFL where you can remember like we've kind of thought? Because I think it's some over the last few years that you're like, oh man, they're going to regret.
Well, both of us I know are thinking AJ Brown, right?
That was exactly what I was thinking.
They got fleeced. The Titans got fleeced when that happened, and now like Vrabel, who was part of the organization, you kind of figure out that he had nothing to do with it or no say, and that's why those questions that you pose about GMs and caring about either players or coaches or fan bases. A lot of times this is just like a heartless, ruthless business. So the AJ Brown one, obviously nowhere near the magnitude of what just happened with Luka, but we're going to see him in the Super Bowl on Sunday. And even like just the Giants fan base and how upset they were about them not re-signing Saquon and the season Saquon has had. And the fact, poor Joe Shane, that we got to see that kind of play out on Hard Knocks.
You don't pay a running back $12 million.
Yeah, and how cavalier he was about it, and how that hasn't worked out.
Bet you do.
I don't really see a comparison, unless Jerry Jones wanted to top him. The only thing he could do to top it is to trade for Lamar or Burrow or Josh Allen or Herbert or one of those guys, and obviously that's just not.
Well, that's what I said. I tweeted out right after that, Fitz. I said, this is Jerry's moment right here. Like, you can do anything right now and win the entire city of Dallas. Think about it. They are livid with the Mavericks. They don't want anything to do with them. Yeah. This is Jerry's moment. When would he ever be aggressive? Right now, when he knows if he did it, he's instantly getting all the Mavs fans that are calling and saying, I'm done with my ticket sales. I'm out. I don't want courtside seats anymore. Yeah. Get me out of my contract. This is the time, Jerry. Go do something absolutely crazy, and let's see what happens.
You saw what just happened, what just came up today too, right? Myles Garrett. That would be quite a splash.
Myles Garrett him and Micah Parsons coming after people. That would be interesting.